The experience of Americans torn apart from the love of their lives by our current immigration system is heartbreaking. I've been married for more than 50 years. I can't fathom how I'd feel if my government refused to recognize mine and Marcel's union, or if the law discriminated against me based on who I fell in love with more than 5 decades ago. Now, I understand that not all states have reached the point of being as compassionate and fair as my home state of Vermont. But in just the time since the immigration legislation has been pending, 3 states have joined Vermont in providing marriage equality. Those 3 states are all represented on this committee: Delaware, Rhode Island, and Minnesota. And I know the members here representing those states share my joy for families who will now be treated fairly under their state law. But regardless of these profound state-led efforts to reform their laws to remove discrimination, federal law continues to discriminate against these lawful marriages. Thousands of lawfully married couples in 12 states and the District of Columbia are discriminated against every day, and I'm committed to ending that discrimination. I don't want to be the senator who asks Americans to choose between the love of their life and the love of their country. Discriminating against a segment of Americans because of who they love is a travesty. It's ripping many American families apart. I listen and I hear people who support what I'm doing and people who disagree. One of the, as senators know, I, like many of us did, had a choice in this Congress to change our committee assignments. I stayed on judiciary for a number of reasons. I believe strongly in the rule of law. I fought court stripping bills because I believe that the 3 branches of government and the checks and balances are extraordinarily important to a democracy. But I also believe, and I was brought up in a family that believed in the equal treatment of all people. And I understand what you're saying about our immigration laws. But, you know, I wonder if our grandchildren look back on this day in the same way we look back on the miscegenation laws of 40 years ago. And we ask, how could the Supreme Court even have had to decide the matter of Loving versus Virginia? Why were those laws even on the books and respected and upheld? Where is the Congress who should have spoken up? You know, I heard a senator not on this committee, not of my party, speak on the radio and say if I included this, it would kill all immigration efforts. And I'd hoped that that was simply rhetoric for the particular radio talk show. I realize, and have realized over the last few days, but I've heard it's not. You know, I believe that fixing our broken immigration system is this committee's top priority. As I said to many in January when I decided to stay as chairman, I want to be here to work on immigration, to use what experience and I had to help bring together people that go across the political spectrum in this committee. Men and women I respect greatly in both parties. And I know that millions of Americans are they're counting on us to produce the best legislation possible. They want to help millions of people who are living in the shadows and who also face discrimination and exploitation. I think of my maternal grandparents, who I loved deeply when they came to this country. My wife's parents, who I loved deeply, who came to this country. And so many others I've met in my state and elsewhere. And I believe this legislation is going to make us safer. It will help spur the economy. It's not the bill I would have drafted. It falls short of what I'd hoped we could accomplish, but it may well be the best of what we can do. So it is with a heavy heart. It's a result of my conclusion that the senator I heard on that, getting off on this committee, that I heard on that radio talk show, who said this legislation would, the whole immigration legislation be killed if I added this anti-discrimination amendment. So I will withhold the Leahy Amendment 7 at this point. It will not be before us now at this markup, and we will go to final passage soon. I think there are other senators seeking recognition, and I say this with a heavy heart. You know, I look at what my state went through on this issue. When they finally got through the debate, they said, well, wait a minute. Human beings are human beings. My former senior senator from Vermont, Bob Stafford, man I greatly admired, Mr. Republican in our state, said if you have two people love each other, they make each other better, and we all better because of that. Well, if you have two people love each other and they're married to each other, but one is outside this country, shouldn't they be joined together in this country? So I will hope that senators will eventually join with me